What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku and Animation News Network, and today I'm going to be doing a quickie review of Doctor Who Season 1. Season 1? I think you mean Season 14. Actually, why stop there? Technically, you mean Season 40, because it's Doctor Who Season 40. Holy crap! Season 40. This video is brought to you by the Kaiju no Kami store, creativity by design llc.com/shop. You can buy all kinds of cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise. We've got t-shirts, notebooks, pens, water bottles, and a poster. Check it out, and thank you for your business. Now back to the review. Doctor Who Season 40 has come and gone, and it was pretty good. Not groundbreakingly amazing or anything that you would expect. I mean, do you expect a show in its 40th season to be groundbreaking? Because I don't. I just want to be entertained at this part, and I was entertained for the most part. It's not the greatest written season. There were a lot of moments that are like, really? But overall, it was an enjoyable season. It was the first season with Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. We've got Millie Gibson as Ruby, his companion. And, well, the actors have amazing chemistry together. Excellent chemistry. You can truly believe that this is the Doctor's companion. They're really getting along well. The problem is, the show likes to tell us how well they're getting along. It didn't really show us, which was a big disappointment. I am very saddened with how that aspect played out, because there's like a lot of, oh yeah, Ruby and I did this, Ruby and I did that, Ruby and I have done that. Cool. Could you have showed it to us? That was for me the biggest negative about this season. That they just kept telling us what they had done. After the first two episodes, like, oh, there were many adventures they went on in between episodes. And they even had aliens appear, like they would show towards the end of the season. They were showing these pictures of these characters they encountered that they had never actually shown us them encounter them. They just encountered them in between episodes, which was very annoying. And it was a total disservice to the cast because, again, both Gibson and Gatwa have incredible chemistry together. They deserved better. Now, the first episode was called Space Babies, which was an okay episode. It was the Doctor and Ruby find themselves on this space station with talking independent babies. It was an okay story. The CGI for the babies was kind of creepy. It is a bit creepy in that aspect. But it wasn't a bad episode. It had a pretty cool monster with some cool scenes about it. Some cool logic. And the monster was pretty terrifying. But and then when they find out though what the monster's made of, that was kind of gross. Our next episode, The Devil's Cord, brought in a brand new villain called the Maestro, who felt like a classic Doctor Who villain. They were really badass. They played around with sound. Audio was incredible in this episode because they played around with sound a lot. Especially there's one scene where sound is completely omitted so the Doctor can hide. That was a really badass scene. It made me think of a sequence from Batman Beyond with Shriek and a sequence from Kamen Rider Ghost with the music ghost creature dude. I like that. Maestro, again, was a very threatening villain. Had some good origins behind them. I would love to see Maestro return. You had this little nice revelation that something might be going on with Ruby, with some special abilities. Our next episode, I have my phone here to cheat because I don't remember every episode by name. Oh yes, Boom, which was the Stephen Moffat episode. The Doctor and Ruby are on this planet that is being invaded by religious nut jobs, a nut job military thing in the name of religion, and the Doctor actually steps on a landmine and Ruby is trying to figure out how to get him off. That episode, it was pretty good. Again, some really good character moments between Ruby and the Doctor, but the Doctor is immortal, practically. As established in the Chibnall era, the Doctor is the Timeless Child, and the Timeless Child is practically a god, so you knew the Doctor was never in any danger. Yes, everyone else would be in danger, but there was no real suspense from it because it's like, oh, the Doctor will get out of this. Now, if it had been Ruby who stepped in the landmine, that would have been more interesting because then we could have had, well, shit. If something happens, she definitely goes boom and she's done. Whereas he'll be fine. So, wasn't my favorite Moffat episode. Wasn't bad. It had some really cool stuff. It's just I knew nothing was going to go wrong. Then we had 73 Yards, which was pretty freaking cool in the first half, but I'm still not sure of what I thought of the second half. The first half, the Doctor disappears and Ruby finds herself being followed by some mysterious being that is 73 yards away, and it's just there, and anytime someone goes up to it, they just run away. It kind of had like an It Follows feel to it, just the thing wouldn't follow. I mean, it followed her, but it didn't actually go after her, it just stayed there. And then it goes to when she's in her 40s and 50s and till she's on her deathbed, and she has to stop an evil politician. Sounds familiar. Maybe that should happen right now. But and then some other stuff happens and it does this time loop thing, and it was an interesting concept. I'm just not sure where it really worked and failed. Like, I know what worked for me was all the horror aspects. The horror aspects in this episode were so fantastic. Especially, like I said, the first half when it really felt like it was a horror story. The second half, I'm not sure how I feel about it until I eventually rewatch it. After that comes my least favorite episode of the season, Dot and Bubble. Dot and Bubble was like watching a horror movie with an unlikable protagonist who doesn't die at the end. And you're just like, well, that was a load of crap, because that's exactly what it was. A load of crap. We had a highly unlikable piece of shit character who deserved to die and didn't. I mean, oops, I kind of spoiled it, but I mean, not quite. But it was like, what? No. The episode might have worked at like 20 minutes, but 45 minutes? No. This character was just atrocious to have to deal with on screen. It's some snotty rich bitch who has rich people problems. Oh no, I have to work 2 whole hours. Oh, woe is me. I live on this planet that is catered to my needs. Oh, woe is me. Ugh. It was a terrible episode. It was so stupid. She was so useless. And I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. It was a horror movie that was very unsatisfying in the end because nothing happened. So it was my least favorite episode. After that, we had Rogue, which Rogue was probably, well, depending on how you count the next episode as a 2-part or not. Rogue was my favorite standalone episode. It kind of reminded me of The Girl in the Fireplace, which works because I think The Girl in the Fireplace is the best New Who episode, period. It introduced a brand new interesting character who I really think is actually River regenerated or something, because of the way the character's personality worked. Rogue, I guess his name was actually Rogue, but him and Shooty had some good chemistry. They had some really good scenes of fun. Yeah, some people said, oh, it was harkening back to Jack Harkness, which it kind of was, but hopefully this actor's not an asshole like that actor is. But like I said, I feel like the character is River regenerated. I could be totally off on the mark on that. I probably am totally off on the mark on that. But that's what it felt like to me. Especially with the way the character, because there's a scene where they're arguing. The doctor's trying to convince the Rogue, and the moment the moment all the faces showed up for the doctor, the Rogue stopped and was like, "Oh," and suddenly was like, "Oh, okay, I know who you are," or Rogue is another variation of the Doctor, and we have a whole Loki thing going on here, where, wow, you're that much in love with yourself. And we got to see the dark side of the Doctor again, which is something I haven't seen in a long time. We need that vicious side of the Doctor every now and then, like the Family of Blood, Capaldi after Clara's death. So it was nice to see that again. After that came The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which is by far the best Doctor Who episode since Heaven Sent in Capaldi's era. It was gripping. There was so much buildup. It was suspenseful. It was terrifying. It was horror-based. It brought back one of my favorite villains from the classic era that has not been brought back at all. And part 2, Empire of Death, happens. That kind of was like, oh, okay, well, that went out on a whimper. Like, Empire of Death does, I mean, they basically do a blip. And you know, the moment the blip happens, you're like, well, okay, everyone's going to get restored, so we're going to reset this all. And it completely took out all the momentum that part 1 built up. So it was like, yeah, oh. And it was wonky the way the Doctor beat this villain. But at the same time, it's Doctor Who, so I can't complain too much, because Doctor Who is wonky at times. I mean, the Celestial Toymaker in the classic era got beat by some random MacGuffin that the Doctor did. The Master was often beat by some random MacGuffin the Doctor did. So, it is what it is. But the finale did take a little bit of the wind out of the sails. I was a bit saddened by that. But overall, it was an enjoyable season. Way better than all the Whittaker seasons. At least I can give it that. That was nice to have a season that wasn't total dog shit again. Didn't fully retcon the entire franchise. I mean, it's kind of hard to retcon when they've already retconned it. So, it is what it is. But overall, it was good. I won't ever say it was the greatest Doctor Who season. I won't say it was RTD's best. I will never say it was RTD's best. I mean, of his 5 seasons, it is the weakest, unless you count the specials season. Then it's better than the specials season. I will give it that. But again, the biggest problem was it was a lot of telling, not showing. There were some really good mysteries going on. One that's been is going to continue into season 2. A couple mysteries on this was like, oh, that's it? Okay. But I think the problem is I was really like, okay, 8 episodes. Well, that means there's not a lot of time for fluff. We're going to have all story. Then the way it executed, though, was like, they failed on both levels. They failed on being able to develop the story well, and they failed on being able to do the filler fluff. Because we really needed Ruby and the Doctor's relationship built upon. So I really feel like the main story with the main villain should have been saved for season 2. Season 1 should have just been individual stories developing Ruby and the Doctor's relationship. And then maybe the Maestro episode would be the season finale with the revelation that he who waits is now awakened. And then all of the next season would have developed that dread of what's coming, so that this could have just developed the Doctor and Ruby. That's how I feel it should have gone. I guess we'll see what season 2 has to offer next year. But overall, season 41 technically next year, but season 1 of the new series was not bad. I will give it a 7 out of 10 as a whole. 6 or 7. Let's go with the 7. I know the show's much capable of much better. Again, though, it is the 40th season. I don't know what else I can expect at this point. Just don't bore me. And everything but Dot and Bubble did not bore me. So I will give it that. And that was the problem Whittaker seasons did. Most of those episodes bored the hell out of me. There were only a handful of Whittaker episodes I truly enjoyed. But overall, did you watch Doctor Who Season 1? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments. And honestly, anyone that says Doctor Who is woke, your comment, your thought is automatically dispelled for me. No, if woke is the best term you can use, then I don't even want to hear it. No offense to anyone. But I don't want to hear the term woke. I want an actual opinion as to why you didn't like it, or if you did like it, why you liked it. Alright, click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can also support me at Twitter. No, you can also support me at Patreon and Bluesky at Toku TAANN Network, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord at Kaiju no Kami. And my website, creativitybydesignllc.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. There's also a link in the description below. And until next time, bye.